What's up, nerds? So, I just finished the penultimate episode of season 1 of Percy Jackson. I wonder why they didn't just call this season The Lightning Thief, like the book or whatnot. This episode was decent. I didn't hate it like I did the last two episodes. I didn't hate the last two episodes. I just, that one episode with Ares was really bad, but the last one was just boring. This one, I didn't have any problems with the episode or whatnot. I'll talk about it more as I break down the episode and my review overall at the end and everything. First things first, though, I want to address something. So in my last episode, one of you commented, and I'm throwing it up now, and this is from Mars of Venus, and you said, yeah, zero explanation why acting is bad, just saying that it is bad, awful review, because there's almost no constructive criticism, everything just based on preferences and feelings, which everyone can have their own, and that's okay. The opinion is still valid, but not really as a review. I just want to say that you're wrong. It was an excellent review, so check yourself. Second, you are correct. I did not explain why I thought the acting was bad, and I didn't give any constructive criticism, which I will do in this one. So thank you, Mars of Venus. Though check your watch your tone, the way you type to me. But I'm joking. Calm down, Mars of Venus. You're too sensitive. So I just want to say I will give some constructive criticism, and I will explain if an acting is bad. I'll talk about the kid that plays Grover. We're gonna talk. Don't worry. I will explain why I think he's a bad actor. But then I will also give constructive criticism in terms of what I think this episode did wrong. All right. So let's get into this breakdown, and then, like I said, I'll explain. In a flashback, Sally brings Percy to a new school. Overwhelmed due to Percy struggling with abandonment and beginning to see mythical creatures, Sally contacts Poseidon, who dissuades her from taking Percy to Camp Half-Blood so he can forge his own identity. So I wanted to add all these flashbacks because they're peppered throughout this episode, but I just want to say that first off, I did like these flashbacks. I really did. And it's mostly because the actress that plays Sally Jackson, her name is Virginia Call. And I just have to say, what a fantastic talent. This woman, I wrote this later on in my notes, and I'll say it right now. Every time she's on screen, the scene is better for it. And I really hope she gets more work off this show. I really do. She's so talented. I think she's my favorite actor in this entire show. Because I really do. I really just love like what she brings to a scene. And like I said, so fantastic, so talented. I would love to see more of this woman in a movie or in another show. I hope that Percy Jackson isn't the only big thing she gets, because I've never seen her in anything else, and if I had, I don't remember her in it, and I would remember her because she's fantastic. All right, but these scenes, I really liked these scenes. If they're in the book, I didn't reread the whole, but I only reread the chapters up to this point, but if this scene happened, I don't remember it taking place in the book earlier. But I did like it. I like that she lit the match and then she threw it in the sundae, because that's how in the book, you burn the best of what you have and it sends it up to the gods, and they can smell it or whatnot, and they're just like, oh, it smells so good, that sundae. And then he comes in, Poseidon, which I'll talk about that actor later on, but he comes in, he's all like, you can't send him to Camp Half-Blood because then he'll just, he won't be able to find himself. And I'm all like, okay, that's fine, but I did like this scene. Percy confronts Crusty and gains access to his secret passage into the Underworld. Okay, so now this part, a small piece of me is happy that they added Krusty's waterbed world, or bed world, whatever it is. And I do like the actor that plays Crusty. But one thing that I wish they would not, I wish they wouldn't have done this in place of Charon. Because I really love it, in DOA Studios, because I really like that scene about how they go in and they're like, hey, you need a raise and everything. And I honestly feel like the Charon scene would have been better for this show than the Krusty's waterbed part. I do feel like Procrustes was it's a little, because if you read Greek mythology, it's very dark. Like it's a lot of grapingness, and it's really not too many pleasantries. So I just felt like this was not as good as I didn't feel the scene was as good as the books, because it talks about like how he's gonna, you don't fit this bed, so I'm just gonna cut off a foot, your feet and everything, so you fit. I didn't feel like the show explained that very well, mostly because it's on Disney Plus, so kids might see it. So I mean, like, you can't be explaining like decapitation and stuff. But I also felt like the Charon part was more A, kid friendly, and B, I just felt like it would have been better for the show compared to the Krusty's waterbed part. I'm not mad about it. I honestly think that, again, to be constructive, I feel like the Procrustes part was not as good as the Charon part, where he's all like, Hades, I haven't gotten a raise in a millennium or whatnot, and they're all like, oh, you want these drachmas? We'll give you the whole bag if you take us to the underworld. So I thought that I just felt like that would have been better for the show than this part. But I'm not upset that they did this instead. And I do like the actor that played Crusty. He's great. The trio encounter Charon, who summons Cerberus, and Annabeth tames the dog, allowing them to escape, but Grover realizes that he lost his pearl. Okay, so one thing I did like, though, I didn't like how the dead people weren't ghosties and everything, and I get it, they don't want to spend they don't want to shoot their shot all on, CGI for ghosts and stuff, but one thing that happened in the book that I really did like is Cerberus, he sits down, and a bunch of ghosts, like, are underneath him and everything, and when I reread that chapter for this, I was like, oh, that bit's gonna be fun to see, and they didn't do that, which is fine. I'm not complaining. I just thought that was fun, and I felt like I would have liked to seen the ghosts be more CGI than just like people standing around, extras. But I did, first off, I want to say Percy is rude. You do not cut in line. If I was in that line, I'd been like, hey, fuckface, you better get back in line. This spot ain't for you in front of me. The behind me is for you, bitch. So, I mean, he's like, lines are for suckers. Yeah, well, trust me, you're going to be standing in line if I'm in line, because you ain't getting in front of me. I'll tell you that right now. Also, I did like when they got stopped by Karen, he's like, you're not dead. I grinned a little bit, because that's kind of funny. I don't know why it's funny to me, but I thought that was kind of funny. And then Cerberus, so stinking cute, you guys. What is it about three-headed dog, like Fluffy from Harry Potter? I'm just like, oh, Fluffy's so cute. And Cerberus, I was just like, I just want to snuggle his little faces, I was like, aw, Cerberus is so stinking cute. I did miss Grover, like, interpreting what Cerberus was thinking with the, like the red ball and everything. I felt like that was a touch that I wish they would have added in here. I also, again, I think that would have added something to the show and make me like Grover a little bit more, because I have to be honest, I don't care for Grover in this show. I just find him more annoying than anything else. But I also, a small piece of me, when Annabeth tames Cerberus in the books, because she's got the ball and everything, and they try to do this thing like he's got a stick from Krusty's, he's got, it's not a stick, it's a poster, one of the 4 posters from Crusty, one of Krusty's beds. He steals that and everything, and he's going to use that like, fetch kind of thing. And then Annabeth, she pulls out the ball and everything. I also like that, and I felt like that would have been more appropriate for this show than what they did. I don't hate what they did, but I just felt like when you compare it, I feel like this is A, more kid friendly, and B, I think better writing. I think that what happened in the book, that situation, I felt was a better writing in terms of how to handle that than this show does. Again, not mad about it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying when you're writing this show, I don't understand why you wouldn't try to write the best. And they said they wanted to update it, but I didn't feel like this was updated. I mean, and maybe it was just because they didn't have the money for it, which I understand. But I just, again, I felt like it was better. And of course, Grover lost his pearl. Maybe if you'd clutch it like he's been doing this whole freaking show, he wouldn't have lost it. Sorry, I don't like Grover on this show. I love him in the books, but I don't like him on this show. He's very annoying. In the fields of Asphodel, Annabeth becomes stuck and has to use her pearl. Okay, so I thought the fields of Asphodel were very interesting. I kind of liked it, like in terms of an artistic form. I liked that the roots and everything, and they're just like, something you regret that you haven't done, or you have done. I liked that concept. I just would have liked to. I kind of like it more, just like if you would have seen someone's own personal torture. I just felt like, them becoming a tree is not as exciting, or like, I thought, but visually it was very interesting. Like, they're just, those people are just standing there, like, almost like phantoms, but like tree phantoms. I don't know if that's a thing, and then Annabeth getting stuck there. I thought that was very interesting. Maybe I picture Asphodel differently in my own mind and how they would do it. We didn't get to see Elysium either. Or again, an explanation of Elysium. But again, I'm not this part. I'm not saying they should have done it like the books. I did think that this was artistically. I thought it was very like visually. Like I was just like, this is an interesting choice. And I feel like this is a positive choice. Like I'm digging what's going on here. After reaching Tartarus, Grover is nearly pulled into the pit by the flying shoes. And then Percy then discovers that the Master Bolt is in his gifted backpack. Okay, so Tartarus, I thought Tartarus would be a little bit more scary, but which is fine. I'm not. This is definitely not a complaint. It's just a big hole, and I was like, oh, I thought it'd be more like a crack, like the Grand Canyon of the underworld, if you will. I thought that's what I was looking more into, and I thought it would be a lot darker. I thought like you look into it and you can't see anything, kind of thing. But it's totally fine. That part was fine. They did it just like the book, where the shoes are taking him and he's trying to grab, stuff, but there's nothing but gravel and everything. And the shoes do come off because of his hooves. They don't they're not feet. So they're just like a cylinder almost. So they just fly off his feet. I did like that. It was very books accurate. I did also when I thought it was kind of corny / hokey when they land and it's like and it's like tank and you're like, what's that and everything. I was like I feel like that could have been done a little bit better, but it's totally fine for time wise and for the show wise. I get it. But I did like it. That part, yeah, it was good. Percy and Grover continue to Hades' palace, and Hades offers to return Sally to Percy if Percy gives him his Helm of Darkness, which was also stolen. So, first things first, Hades' palace, very Boringsville. It's just a big rock. Like there's no amenities. Not a water slide. You know what I'm saying? Come on, spruce that sucker up. So Hades, he was fine in this. I thought it would be like a little bit more business-like, but it was fine. I did like this scene. I did like it. The part that made me like smirk again was when Percy Jackson gives his whole spiel like, we're not going to give you the Master Bolt because you should do the right thing and let my mom go. And then he's like, huh? And then Percy's like, what? And I was like, that's good. I like that because he's like, I just wish Hades would be like, what the fuck are you talking about, kid? I just wish it's so I was just like, I liked it. Okay. And of course the Helm of Darkness, which is why I wish they would have done that bus scene from like episode 2 or 3. I can't remember off the top of my head, where the Furies go into that bus and there she's like, and in the books they're like, where is it and everything, and they're talking about the Helm of Darkness. And I wish they would have played that up a little bit more, because I feel like if you didn't read the books, you don't really know that's like a thing or whatnot. Also, I wish the Furies would have made another appearance here. I did feel like there wasn't enough in terms of, seeing the kindly ones, if you will. But again, liked this scene. I thought it was well. I thought the Sally Jackson statue could have looked a little bit more like Sally Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Percy realizes that Kronos organized the thefts due to his long-standing grudge against his children. Also, I feel like there wasn't a very good explanation of how Percy came to the realization that it was Kronos that organized this whole thing. As someone that read the book, I knew from the get-go it was Kronos, but I feel like you didn't really get a sense of who the figure was from his visions. Like if you didn't read the books, I feel like you wouldn't know. And then you got a very little explanation, and bad explanation at that, from Ares. A small piece of me just wish they would have explained it a little bit more for people that hadn't read the book, or didn't know Greek mythology and stuff. So it was fine, but I just wish they would have explained it a little bit better for you cheap seats in the back. And then Hades offers to protect them in exchange for the bolt, but Percy refuses, and the two use their pearls, and they are brought to Montauk, where they reunite with Annabeth before being confronted by Ares. So again, I did like how because after Percy explains everything, he's like, all right, give me the Master Bolt, because I'm going to need it in the upcoming war. War's no fun and everything. I also wish that he would have explained, because in the book, he doesn't want the war, because he's already overloaded when he's like I'm backed up for a century right now with all these deaths and stuff. You think running the underworld is easy, kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing and stuff. So I wish they would have played that up a little bit, just because again I felt like from the book I was like, that's really good that Hades would have that mindset. But again, not complaining. And then they arrive on Montauk, and then Ares is there, and we get the big fight next episode and everything. So I'm excited to see that and everything. So that's where the episode ended. I did like Ares' sword also. I don't like Percy Jackson's sword in this show. I think it's I don't like the design of it, but that's a nitpick on my part. But I just don't like it. Okay, now let me talk about the things in this show that I liked overall. First off, again, going back to style, I want to talk about that Asphodel part again, just because I mentioned it before. I really do like the style of that. I thought it was artistically pleasing for me personally. I was just like, ooh, whoever thought of this, I really liked what they came up with. I thought it was interesting. And a small piece of me wishes they would have shown Elysium. What would they have done there? Because in the book, they describe it as like what if you were just hanging out in the middle of, I can't remember, or like Oklahoma in a wheat field and everything. And then Percy Jackson says something like, oh, that's boring. And he's like, yeah, but, what do you see when you're in Elysium? And I was like, a small piece of me wishes they would have shown that. Not because it had to be in there, but because, again, I would like to have seen what the creators of the show and the people running the show would have done there. Because, Asphodel, I didn't see that, what they did coming. And when I did see it, I was like, this is interesting. It's a very interesting choice. And I would like to see more. I would like to see more of that, if you please. So CGI also I thought was good in this episode. I really like Cerberus. He was so stinking cute. Wish I could have seen more of him. And if they do it the way the books go, I can't remember what book it is, but I think we do see him again. So I'm excited for that. But the CGI was good. I just want more of it. You know what I'm saying? And I understand they've got a budget. I'm not, I understand it sounds like I'm complaining with stuff. I'm not complaining. I want to see more of this. And I understand why you can't show me more of it, because you're like, I need more money and I don't have any money to give you. So sorry about that. Now I want to talk about the acting. And before I get to the three main characters, I want to talk about the other actors in this, okay? Now, I already mentioned it before, but I said I was going to mention it now. But Virginia Call as Sally Jackson she is very good. She's fantastic. I wrote down fantastic in my notes because she's so good in this show, you guys. And I said it before, I'll say it again. I think she's my favorite actor on this show, and she's not in every episode, because every time she's on the screen I'm just like, this scene is better for it. And I really hope she gets more work off of this show. She's very good. I like her a lot. I really do. I don't know why. I mean, well, besides the fact that she's talented, I don't know why I'm drawn to her when she's on screen. Maybe it's just because she's so goddamn good. You know what I'm saying? Okay, The guy that played J. Tuplas, is that how you say his last name, as Hades, did a good job. I've only seen him in that Transparent show, but I liked him in that show also. Sorry, I have something in my eye. But he did a good job in this episode, and I did like his version of Hades. I thought it was very, like, businessman-like, and I wish they would have played that up a little bit. I just really liked that a lot. We only got a little bit of Toby Stephens as Poseidon, but what we did get, I did like it. I wish, I mean, the gods really don't play an overwhelmingly huge part in these books in terms of, like, their scenes. They're just in little snippets, like maybe like they're in one chapter. Like Ares is only in like 2 chapters, like, but I did like him in the scene, that the flashback that he was in. I think that Poseidon, I'd fuck him, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Last thing, I want to talk about the main actors, all right, you guys? So, first things first, again, Walker Scobell does a good job. I have no complaints about him. I think he's very talented, and I do hope to see him in more stuff also. I think out of the 3 actors, I think the main kids, I think he's doing the best job. I know some of you disagree with me on that, but that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you on that. You like what you like. I like what I like. I just think out of the 3 main actors, I think he's doing the best job, acting wise. And that's all I got to say about that. I just like him a lot. Okay. The kid that plays Grover. Okay, so I want to talk about this, of why I don't think he's a good actor, because of the commenter. I can't remember your name. Sorry, don't be mad at me. But his name is Aryan Simhadri. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not going to look up how to say it because I don't care. I do think he's a bad actor. Every time he talks, I just roll my eyes. And this is why. When I think his line delivery sucks. His facial expressions are good. When he's not talking and he just does facial expressions, I think he's doing a good job. It's just when he delivers a line, to me, it feels like an SNL sketch. Like somebody is off to his right or whatever with a big cue card with his lines on it, and he's just reading off the lines from the cue card. Like it's very choppy to me. It doesn't seem like it's natural, like it comes out naturally. It just feels like he's just reading his lines, like right then and there. Like he didn't memorize them. He's like, I love to talk to you, Percy Jackson. And I'm just like, I don't know. And I'm not sitting here talking like I'm a seasoned actor or whatever. But for me personally, when I'm watching him, I am taken out of it because I'm just like, wow, did he just not come to set prepared that day or any day? Yeah, I just didn't like it. And so I'm sorry, but I was very, like, I just think he's not good at this acting thing. And I'm just curious as to why they chose him. Out of all the brown boys they could have picked, they picked him. And I'm just like, I don't think he's that good. So, I mean, and if you like him, that's fine too. I'm not trying to, what is it? I'm not trying to yuck your yum or whatever the hell that saying is. I don't think he's very good. That's just that when he, like I said, it's his line delivery. I don't think it's good. All right, and the last but not least is Leah Jeffries as Annabeth Chase. Now, again, this episode, I didn't hate Annabeth in this episode. She was fine, I didn't feel it was as good as the book in terms of like her figuring out how to deal with Cerberus and everything. But I did, and Leah Jeffries, acting wise, she's doing a good job. I have no complaints about her acting. I have no complaints about it. And earlier episodes, Annabeth, I feel like, is an unlikable character. But in this episode, I didn't hate her. I was just like, okay, she was fine. I don't know, man. Overall, I just wish the connection between the 3 characters was a little bit more, In the book, I just felt like they were more friendly, like friends. And in this show, I don't get that. It's just like they're there to help each other to finish this quest, and that's it. Like they're not friends. They're just like they're not friends, but they're less than friends, but more than acquaintances. I don't know what the word is for that, but if you do, type it in the section down below so I can know. All right, you guys. So that is my breakdown and review of this episode. Sorry, I talked a lot in this one, but I did. As far as penultimate episodes go, this one was pretty good. It wasn't the best penultimate episode ever. Plus, the lightning bolt, the master bolt, it's a little weak in my opinion, but it's fine. I'm not, it's like whatever. Out of all the things, that's just me being nitpicky. I am excited to see what they do for the finale. I mean, I know what happens. I can't wait to see how they're going to do the big reveal of who the lightning thief is. I already said who it was before, and if you read the books, you know who it is. But I am excited to see all of that stuff. It's Luke. But I really like that actor that plays Luke, and I'm kind of bummed we haven't seen him since. I mean, we wouldn't see him since, but he's a very good actor, and I'm excited to see his turn to the dark side. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited to see. I hope they get started on season 2 right away, because even though I didn't like the last 2 episodes, I do want to see more of this show. I know, I may be critical of the show, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's a bad show. In fact, I would say it's a good show. So this penultimate episode was pretty decent, and I'm excited to see where they go in the season finale. All right, guys, sorry it took so long, but tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite of the trio? Who's your favorite Greek god, in this show that we've seen so far, and in the pantheon of Greek gods? All right, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Percy Jackson breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.